Now believe me, seeing the who's who of Newcastle managers in this simulation alone is worth the click on this video. You see, previously I did a video on how bonkers FM22 was after 10 seasons, and within that we've seen that Newcastle spent just short of £2 billion in transfers, and well, spoilers for that video, they didn't really achieve anything with that. So I thought I would continue to simulate until Newcastle had somewhat of a success, or maybe an unexpected team won the Premier League. And that is why right now I have brought you to the year 2043. Spurs have won the league. My dad is happy. The video is a wrap. End it there, Editor Sid, and I'll be off. Of course, I'm joking. They very much have the capabilities of winning the Premier League, it's just not happened for them. But remember, if you haven't done so yet, you can buy the game with my discount code, the link down below in the description. You get the Steam code, so you can load it up to Steam, you can play the beta, and when the game drops on the 9th, you have it there already and waiting. Thank you to everybody who's used my code so far. So what is interesting, as we are in the year 2043, is really the dominance by Manchester City. We've had Arsenal win a couple of years, Liverpool and Chelsea have won it every now and then up until this Tottenham win, but Man City, I mean, there's 4 in a row there. They had a few there, 3, 4 in a row, 4 or 5 in a row there. They've won a lot, and if they haven't been winning it, they tend to be runners-up pretty much every time. I think they've been runners-up other than the 2 Arsenal years. So they have pretty much dominated it, and we've seen in that 10-year simulation how Klopp took over at one point. So, I mean, who's City manager right now after Tottenham has won it? So Marco Rose. And he has actually been the manager for 15 years. I do think this is before my name fix, so it could be somebody else. I think somebody put in the comments who it actually was, but 15 years he has been in charge with 10 league wins and 22 cup wins. Somebody needs to get rid of him, because Sir Alex, that's up for grabs there. So Newcastle are in 5th place, so they are doing somewhat successful. The UEFA Europa League qualification, and they have the top goal scorer of the league, and what a player he actually is. So they have obviously been spending money. I mean, their manager right now is Sean Dyche. Their manager is Sean Dyche. We'll look up more managers soon. I promise you it gets even better. But yeah, the transfers, I mean, they're still spending incredible amounts of money. 145 million, 274 million, 148. So what looks like they're roughly spending £100 million or more every single season. And yeah, that's quite impressive. But they are selling a lot of players, to be fair. There's £206 million there. So across the whole season, sometimes it evens it out. Sometimes they're just splashing. And how is that done for them? Well, basically 5th and 4th place seems to be round about there. That's where they kind of are. So Champions League qualification, but then like an 11th place drop there. So they are just like occasionally just dropping right off and then popping back up. So the money is there. They're spending it. They're not really doing a lot with what they're spending it on. What I did actually find is they most recently won a trophy in 2038. They lifted the Europa League with a victory against Red Bull Salzburg. That is kind of it. Genuinely serious. They haven't really done anything else. Unless you consider the UEFA Conference League a victory. 2036 season, they beat Apoel in the final after losing 10 years before against Milan in that final. I've come back in 2024 because the chairman left. So obviously they took over this summer, so that would have been a good 22-year reign as the Newcastle board, and yeah, he's finally packed it in after winning 1 UEFA Conference League, 1 Europa League, and 1 Carabao Cup, finishing sometimes in the Champions League after spending billions and billions of pounds. Like I don't want to work it out because it just seems way too much and will take way too long, but I'm guessing it's somewhat about 10 to 12 billion, and after all of that he has nothing really to show of it. The legacy that he has, Kevin Keegan did this in the 90s with a lot less. 2056 is the first year that a team outside of what you would consider the Big Six, if you still consider Spurs in that Big Six, has won it. Actually, Leicester won it a little bit sooner, but still, and it's Newcastle. I can't believe it. I genuinely can't believe that it's actually happened. The fact that the chairman left and then they were more successful after with Newcastle. Let's look at this league table because Preston are second as well. So on 87 points, but Newcastle, they're champions, 93 points. Past winners then, Manchester City has been dominant in the last 4 years. Preston have been second All 3 seasons, Newcastle have been third there for the other 2, but Leicester did win it in 2050-51. Now, I could have come back for that, but they won it recently, and I don't think Leicester's too bad of a team on this. They've done quite well. I mean, Brentford's up there in the 3rd place spot. That's really the only team that looks somewhat out of place. Obviously, a current Premier League team. So Preston, to be honest, is the biggest shot. But 2056, I mean, what's that? 25 years? 35 years until a team outside of someone who you would normally expect to win the Premier League has won the Premier League. It's Newcastle, and the chairman's not even there. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go forward a little bit further and see how long this run lasts. Does it continue? Do they do back-to-back? Do they keep winning it for years and years like a dominating Man City, or does it all implode? And then, then I've got to show you the managers, because honestly, it's so much fun. Now the year is 2068, the 25th of May 2068. Man City are champions. Tell me something new, Luke. What is new is Newcastle dominated for a long period of time, and now it looks like they're starting to drop off. I mean, they only finished 4 points behind Manchester City, but that's 2 seasons in a row now. They haven't won it. Manchester City, they're back-to-back, but Newcastle, they couldn't retain it. They finished in 2nd place. Man City came back and bit back again, but then Newcastle dominated from 2058 to 2066. 9 seasons in a row. I think 1, 2, 3, 4. 9 seasons in a row, which is very impressive, to be honest. Complete domination. Preston and Man City continuously trading off 2nd place. And they did it without the current chairman with all the money. I mean, the people who have took over, I don't know. It doesn't really tell you whether they have a lot of money or not, unless I actually went into it and added myself as a manager. I suppose I could do that. But what it does tell you is that they only have secure finances. So I don't think they are like mega rich like they were under obviously the current owners that have just joined. Predicted to finish in 2nd place. I mean, a good tell, I suppose, is how much they are spending in the transfer budget. And it does look like it's coming down. It's calming down now. 77 million after, you know, spending, or after selling 91, and it is slightly coming down. We can see by this graph here where this was like silly money. That's like 300 to 400 million pounds nearly. And since then, it has died down a lot. That's a big season there. When's that? That's like 23 seasons before, maybe 200 million, I would guess. Yeah, 225 million, but they sold 180, so they're not really like spending a lot. They're actually being quite shrewd with it, and it's actually worked out. Would you believe it? And not only were they winning the league, but they had some victories in Europe. They are a 3-time Champions League winner, and somehow they've won it back to back, beating Manchester City twice in the final. That's obviously their biggest rivals, who've won the Champions League by the looks of it so many times it's a joke, and Real Madrid in another one. So they've won some Champions Leagues. That's amazing. They've actually had such a good history. Right, okay, I've left you too long now. It's manager time, because this is amazing, right? So of course, if you missed the last video where we looked at Newcastle, I'm gonna fill you in now. Brendan Rodgers takes over like he usually does. 2 years, sacked. Sergio Conceição, sacked. Hans Flick came in. 2 years. Obviously an incredible manager with Bayern Munich. Sacked. That's when Pep Guardiola came in for 4 years and 25 days. Sacked. Then it gets even weirder. Okay, because this is after the video, so this is new to everybody. Zinedine Zidane. 263 days, then he leaves. Unai Emery comes in, former Arsenal manager, of course, current Villarreal manager. He leaves. Resigned was Milano after a year and 181 days, not sure who that is. Eddie Howe then comes in, another year, and Milano was the one that they won the cup under, the UEFA Conference League. Josh Davis? I've never heard of him. Tell me if you have. Was manager for 48 days and won a Europa League. Amazing. So Eddie Howe left the manager's role, and he could have won the Europa League, but no. Then it gets even weirder. I mean, I don't know who that is, but Kostas Tsimikas, that's the left back right now, Liverpool's left back, backup left back at that. Wayne Phillips, I don't know who that is. Sean Dyche. We see he was manager at one point. 1 year, 212 days he was in charge. Amin Ghouri, one of my favourite Wonder Kids, is a manager in 2043 to 46. He was sacked after 3 seasons. Lachlan Wooten, he was just a caretaker manager. Shea Adams, Southampton striker right now. Camavinga, of course, a Wonder Kid, sacked after just 81 days. Camavinga was sacked. Is he still manager? I'm curious now. He's Manchester United manager and he's 65 years old. That is amazing. Look at all the teams he's managed. This is mental. He's managed Villa, Crystal Palace, Leeds, Burnley, West Brom, Everton, Brentford. He is Preston, Chelsea, Wolves, Newcastle. He has done the rounds. He has done the rounds. Eduardo Camavinga is probably the most journeyed manager I've ever seen in Football Manager. That's actually mental. Following on from him, we had Fabian, of course, who is the Spanish centre midfielder for Napoli. Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba was sacked after a year. Where is he right now? Is he retired? He's not. He's a scout. He's a scout at Newcastle. And he's been, oh my God, he's managed. Look at his manager history. I find this so unbelievable, by the way. Some of the managers, so he was Southampton manager, Brighton, West Ham, Wolves, Everton. He has been manager in so many different places as well. But Manchester United, Tottenham, Arsenal, what is happening? And then Mikel Arteta joined in. I mean, what? Mikel Arteta, 1 year, 182 days. He then resigned. Eric Garcia. Lucas is the current manager right now. So Eric Garcia, of course, is the Spanish centre-back for Barcelona. He is the current manager of Belgium. And Mikel Arteta has retired, unfortunately, so we can't check him. He is 72 years of age. So that is absolutely mental. What I think is absolutely bonkers is the amount of different managers who have managed so many Premier League teams. It's just very weird to me. But there we go. What do you think of this? Let me know down in the comments. Maybe you should watch this video on why Andy Carroll, speaking of Newcastle, is one of the best strikers on the game and it's a free agent. Honestly, it's a banger of a video.